Hello everyone, in this video I am going to explain about Neutralinojs events API. First we are going to go through the use cases of Neutralinojs API. In other words, I am going to explain how we internally use events in Neutralinojs framework, and I am going to show you how you can use the Neutralinojs events API in your applications. After that, we are going to go through some practical examples with Neutralinojs events API. Basically, we are going to try these events namespace functions like events on, events off likewise, and after that I am going to explain about app.broadcast function. Later we are going to discuss about extension related events functions also. Similar to browser events, Neutralinojs events also play a huge role in Neutralinojs framework. For example, we use Neutralinojs events in various places. For example, if you implement a tray menu for your Neutralinojs application, when you click on a particular menu item, we dispatch an event to the application. Then we can implement some logic to execute after you click on the particular menu item. Likewise, we use events in various places. Here I listed the use cases of Neutralinojs API. Basically, where we use Neutralinojs events, we use this event system to dispatch an event from the Neutralinojs main process to the application instance. For example, if you click on the close button of the native window, then we trigger or dispatch an event to the application. Then you can implement some custom logic to handle the close event. For example, you can display a confirmation dialog asking that whether you are going to exit from the application or not. Then you can perform different actions according to the user's action. You can use this events API when you are having multiple windows inside the Neutralinojs applications. For example, if you have two windows, window 1 and window 2, then you can send a message or event from window 1 to 2. Then you can send the one event from window 2 to window 1 also. Now we recently used this events API concept in extensions API also. Now you can send one message from application instance to one extension via this events API. Also you can send an event from extension to the application instance also. Now we can get started with some practical examples. First we are going to try this events namespace related functions. To demonstrate these things, I am going to use the development version of Neutralinojs. Now I am going to run the this sample application from this Neutralinojs repository in the local computer. First I am going to explain how you can register, unregister and trigger these Neutralinojs events. To demonstrate that, I am going to first register some custom event here. To register events, you can use Neutralino events.on function. Now I am going to use that Neutralino.events.on. Here we can provide the event name. Since I am going to use some custom event just to demonstrate how event system is working, I am going to enter here maybe test event. Here I can provide the handler or a function. Now I am going to provide an anonymous function here. In this function, the Neutralinojs event system will send a custom event to this particular location. Then I can use E. So this E is kind of a custom event instance. Then you can check the documentation to learn more about this custom event. So this section inside the events namespace documentation, you can find events.on documentation. It says that this handler receives some kind of parameter, and it is an instance of custom event. The custom event documentation you can check from here. So this is about kind of extension to normal browser events. You can provide some custom data. Now I am going to complete the function I wrote here. Here I can just enter console.log and this events detail I am going to log here. I just need to see what are the data passed in this custom event. So I can register the event like this. Now the event is registered. Now I am going to test this event handler by triggering some kind of event. To trigger an event, you can use events.dispatch function. Now I am going to write events dispatch. Here I can provide the event name, which is test event. Here I can pass additional data. This can be any kind of data, string, integer, or kind of complex object. Now we can just pass some kind of sample object here. I'm going to pass message hello. So if I execute this one, you can see this message is logged here. So this is logged from that handler, the handler we wrote earlier. In the handler we log that events detail section. So the event detail section we pass this particular object. Earlier when we are registering the event handler, we pass some kind of anonymous function, but if we pass directly function reference, then you can use this function events.off to unregister that particular event handler. But right now I cannot use that because I use an anonymous function which cannot be unregistered, right? Now I demonstrated how basically the event system working by registering some kind of custom event, but the special thing is that Neutralinojs frameworks come with some kind of special events, not just custom events. The framework provides some kind of special events, and you can see those special events from this page, event document page. So for example, we have special events: window close, ready, tray menu item click, likewise. Then within your applications you can implement or register handlers for these kind of events, and you can perform different actions. For example, when you close the window, when you close the native window, so if you close this window, then the framework triggers this window close event. So if you listen to that particular event, you can implement different actions when the event is filed. Now I can demonstrate how you can use these special events with that events.on event handler registration function. So before implementing this window close example, I am going to comment out some code already existing in this particular sample application. The reason is that when I close this one, it automatically closes because the close action is implemented already. So now I am going to clear that one, that code line. So for that I am going to open the source code of the Neutralinojs framework. So inside the bin directly I have the sample application. So I am going to open the sample application source. Here I already implemented it, right? The window close. When the close event happens, the application is going to quit, right? Now I am going to comment this line. So if I rerun the application, now when I click on the close button, the application won't close, right? Because here I commented that line, the application will not quit because the action is not yet implemented. Right now I am going to do something with that event. Let's register some kind of event handler to that window close event. Now I am going to register an event handler using the same method I used earlier, events on. Here I am going to use an special event name, right? Not the kind of a custom event like I did before. I am going to use window close. This is a special event which will be triggered when we close window instance. So here I am going to use a function, anonymous function, just for demonstration, but note that you need to use function reference here if you are going to use events.off function, right? Now I am going to use maybe some console log here just to see this is triggered when I am going to close the window. So now I registered this event handler. Let's close this window and see what happens. Now we can see this event handler's anonymous function is called, right? In this way you can handle this close event explicitly, right? So for example, you can display confirmation dialogues here when you are going to close the window. Maybe I can demonstrate that one also. Instead of this window close console log, I am going to use os.show message box function. I'm going to use Neutralino os show message box. So the title is confirm. I'm going to ask the user whether you are going to quit the application. So here we can provide the choice, basically the button style. So I'm going to use yes, no. Here I can use the icon style, which is a question in this context, I guess. So if I register this one, and if I try to click this one, now I can see this message, right? Then it is asking whether I need to quit the application or not. Likewise, you can use this event to register custom handlers, right? Implement different actions or trigger different actions based on events. As you can see here, still I see that previous console log, right? The reason is that that particular previous event handler is not yet unregistered. Likewise, you can use these events on and implement different actions multiple times, right? If you are using single page application, you can register for different events in different locations, right? In different components, right? So that's about the window close special event. Maybe we can look into another event also. Maybe next I can demonstrate this app client connect event. So this event will be triggered when a new application instance starts. So in other words, if you are seeing the application from different web view or different browser, so then this event will be triggered. This app client connect will be triggered. Now I am going to demonstrate it. First I am going to register that event handler here. Maybe I can close this one to clear out all the handlers. Now I am going to rerun the application. Now I am going to register a new event, new special event handler, which is app client connect. Here I can get that custom event also. Now I am going to log it, p.detail. Now the event handler is registered, right? Now I am going to open this application from the web browser. If I click on this link, I can open this application instance, the same application instance from the browser. So if I click this one, let's check that console. Now this event handler, that function is triggered, right? It returned, it printed 2 means now there are 2 application instances. This one from the browser and this one from the one I previously opened, right? Likewise, you can use these special events in your applications, or you can use custom events also with this events namespace functions. Here the special thing that you need to notice is that when you are registering an event handler, that parameter you are going to capture is basically an instance of custom event, right? You are not just getting directly that particular value, value sent from the dispatch, but you are getting the custom event instance of that particular event with the values, right? Next I am going to show you another useful function which is app.broadcast function. Earlier we used events.dispatch function to trigger event, right? But if you use that dispatch event here, then and if you have multiple instances of applications like this one, you have application instance here and we have application instance here as well. So if you use events.dispatch from this context, from this application instance, it don't trigger events in the other application instance, right? Event handlers in the other application instance. So this app.broadcast function is helpful if you need to broadcast an event from one application instance to all application instance. Here I am going to register an event called maybe test event. Maybe I can use test global event. So it is basically logging the event detail, the custom event detail, basically the data payload. Then if I register this one from here, and if I register this one from the other application instance which is in this browser, so I'm going to register this global event from here as well. Now the event is registered from this application instance and from this application instance also. So what if I use events.dispatch? Let's try out that. So I'm going to use events.dispatch. Then I'm going to send some data. The event name is test global event. So if I try to dispatch it, I will get this message, hello. This thing it means that the event is triggered from this application instance, but it is not triggered from this application instance, right? So what if I use app.broadcast? I'm going to use app.broadcast to dispatch this global event. Now the event is triggered from this application instance and this original application instance also. So you may wonder what is the difference between this app.broadcast and events.broadcast. The difference is that app.broadcast function send or dispatch a message to all application instances. Application means not extension instances, all application instances. But this events.broadcast function send or dispatch a particular message to all clients, all application clients and also extension clients. All WebSocket clients will get that message, but if you use this app.broadcast, all application clients will get that message, right? So that's the difference. Right now if I use this events.broadcast instead of app.broadcast, it will work, right? It will dispatch the event to all application instances. So here it is triggered and here it is triggered also. So if I have extension connected to this application instance, if I use this app.broadcast, that particular extension won't get that message because here I am sending message to all application instances. But if I use this events broadcasting, then the extension client also will get that message. So that's about the difference between those two. Then we can look into other section which is the extensions event system. In the main repository you can see sample extension implemented using Node.js. So if you check this extensions directory, you will find this sample extension. Then here is the main source file of the sample extension. So here inside this on message handler, on message event handler, then we are processing the external events sent from the application instance. So the events to extension is used here. So if I send this events to extension from application, then we can see the particular message content, right? Because I am logging the particular message here. Also if we send this event to extension, then this extension also sends some message to application instances, right? Then it is the event from extension. So to demonstrate this one, I can start the application instance with the extension feature. Then I can trigger this event to extension event, right? Let's do that right now. Now I am going to close the application. Now I'm going to rerun the application, but with extensions. Earlier if I use like this, then the extension system won't be applied or enabled. The reason is that we need to explicitly enable extensions. Now I can enable extensions. Now we can check whether the extension is working by entering the extensions.getStats function. Now I am going to use it, extensions getStats. So it will return all the connected and loaded extensions. Now this sample extension is loaded and also connected, right? Now I can test those events. Like I mentioned before, I am going to send this event to the extension. So to send some event from application instance to extension, you can use extensions dispatch function. Now I am going to use it. To send an event to extension, you need to know about the connected extension name, extension identifier. Then I am going to copy this one. I am going to use now I am going to use Neutralinoj.extensions dispatch. Here we need to provide the extension identifier. Then we need to provide event name. I'm going to quickly check that event name, which is I think event to extension. Now I am going to use it. I am going to send some data also. Maybe we can send some message. Here it accepts any kind of data. You can provide integers, strings, or complex data structures like JSON objects. Likewise, I am going to send here simple message, test message maybe. So if I check the console of the application instance, now I can see this info test message is logged from the extension, right? So it is coming from this code line. Likewise, we can use that extensions .dispatch function to send a message from application instance to extension instance. You may already notice that some message logged from the application console also. So it says that test extension said hello app. So where it came from? If I check the application, so if I check the extension instance, here we can see that hello app. So this event is coming from extension instance to application instance, right? The extension using this app.broadcast function to send the event from extension to all application instances. So this extension is using this app.broadcast native method to send a message from extension instance to all application instances, right? That's why we got this message here. So if I check the source code of the sample application, this one, I can see it is listening to that event from extension which is coming from the extension, right? It is coming from this event is coming from the extension, and it is captured from here using this handler. When you call this extensions dispatch function, you don't need to worry about the status of this extension instance. The reason is that if the extension is not yet connected to the application instance, the framework or the client library automatically queue that message into kind of queue implementation, and it will send all the queued messages to back to that extension when the extension is connected to the application instance, right? Like I mentioned, you don't need to worry about the extension status when you are using this dispatch function. Also, there is another function, this extension.broadcast function. It is very similar to the app.broadcast function. The app.broadcast function will send dispatch an event to all application instance. Similarly, this extensions.broadcast function will dispatch a message to all extension instances, right? It's very similar. Like if you need to dispatch some special event to those connected extensions, you can use this one. Now I can show you that by triggering that particular function, which is extensions broadcast. So if I use this extensions broadcast, I don't need to provide this extension identifier, right? The reason is that I am sending message to all extension instances, right? I can just provide the event identifier, event name, and the data I am going to pass, right? Here I can pass maybe integer here. Now I am going to use the broadcast function. now the message is dispatched. If I check the console, now it is received, right? So these are the things about the Events API. In this video we learned about the use cases of Events API, and we did some practical examples also by registering some custom events and by using some special events in the framework. Also we tested the extensions related events. You can learn more about the event system from this page. It explains about the special events in the Neutralinojs framework, and it says several functions in the Events API. And also you can check further details about the upload broadcast function here. It explains with several examples. And finally you can check about extensions related events also. We recently added some documentations about extensions also. Then you can check this page to learn more about extension system. It explains how you can create and integrate extensions with the Neutralinojs application. In next video I am going to explain further about this extensions feature. See you in next video.